Okay, so thanks everybody for joining who had time. This is another one of those brief team sessions I've been doing now for a while. I mentioned this before we got started. I'll do these pretty much every Wednesday. If you're a first year student, I'll do these every Wednesday following convocations from about 12:30 to 12:45, and they're very brief, just meant to be like a very quick way to get some information out for very specific things that you may want to do, whether it comes to using resources or different things we have for you. So I thought this being our first week class, especially for our first year students, I want you guys to know where you can find all of your required textbooks and recommended and required resources organized. Again, very brief. If you haven't seen this before, this is the LUCOM Medical Library page, and that's just if you go to www.liberty.edu/lucom/library, it'll pull this up, and there's not much here, but I want you to scroll down towards the bottom of the page. You'll see these drop downs that say LUCOM Library Resources, Jerry Falwell Library Resources, and then Databases. And underneath Databases, you'll find a link here that says Research Guides. And it's actually something called LibGuides that a lot of libraries use. We call it Research Guides because no one outside of libraries has heard of LibGuides. But when you click on that link, it will take you to this page that we've built where we organize all of your electronic resources, everything we have available for you. And you'll see there's a bunch of stuff here. There's tabs across the top. You can search some, and I'm going to show you what you can do with that. But mostly what I want to show you today is where you can find your required and recommended text. You'll see I've got a carousel here of some popular books that it's just something you can do with LibGuides. But if you look at the tabs here, you'll see OMS 1 course guides, OMS 2 course guides, and you'll also see course guides here in its own box where it's got OMS 1, OMS 2, and then 3 and 4. Either one of these, if you click on this link or this tab, will take you to the page for that class year, and then it's broken down by semester and course. So for OMS 1 fall, I still probably I'm going to need to update the editions for your spring, but that'll be done before spring starts. But everything in the fall should be up to date. So for your OMS 1, for your fall semester, you'll see you've got your courses BPHOM, OMM, PCM, HME, IMSK, and CVRH. And as you click on these tabs, you'll see that the information below changes to different databases that could be useful, and then I've got required and recommended text. And what I want you to see is just you don't need to go hunt these down. If we have an ebook of one of these required textbooks, the link to this will go right to it. So for integrative medical biochemistry, first edition, if I click on this link, I believe that's McGraw-Hill, but yeah, so that's an Access Pharmacy. I think it's also an Access Medicine, which are the same company. But those links go directly to the ebooks of your required books. Emory's Elements of Medical Genetics is a Elsevier publication, so that'll show up in Clinical Key. Kind of a tip if you're not sure, you know, like I said, with your course guides here, I tried to make it as easy as possible to find these. But if you're not sure, if we have an ebook of one of your required textbooks, if you look at the publishing house stamp on the back of your book, if you've bought the physical book, Elsevier is the publisher that builds the Clinical Key resource. So if you have a book that says Elsevier on the back, chances are we have it in Clinical Key. If you have a book that has the McGraw-Hill publishing house stamp, you'll see McGraw-Hill Medical. They're the ones that make Access Pharmacy, Access Medicine. So a lot of these McGraw-Hill Lang publications, if you see that, that's kind of a tip, and you're not sure if we have the ebook, it's probably in one of the Access Medicine or Access Pharmacy resources. Another big company for your required textbooks is Ovid, also called Wolters Kluwer, also called LWW. Those are all the same company. And so like Foundations of Osteopathic Medicine is one of your required textbooks. And I've put a link to that, and you'll see that will open up in LWW, Osteopathic Health Library. So if it's got that Wolters Kluwer, you can kind of see here that Wolters Kluwer stamp. It's probably, if we have it as an ebook, it's going to be in this LWW. Another one I want you to be aware of, and some of these won't become pertinent until you're in IMSK when you start doing anatomy stuff, but you'll see there's a tab here for your IMSK class, and here's some of your required textbooks. Another big company we use is called TEMA, and we use something called TEMA Med1 Education Platform. It's just a collection, basically all of atlases of anatomy. But one of your textbooks, like for IMSK, is Gilroy's Atlas of Anatomy. And again, we have the ebook, so I link directly to it in that resources. There's a ton more atlases of anatomy in this resource. That's just one of your required books. So that's basically what the main thing I want you to see. If you go to the LUCOM library, go to research guides, go up here to your OMS 1 course guides, and I've got your OMS 1 fall. And of course, if you're an OMS 2 student, I've got those here, and then I've built them for 3rd and 4th for clinical years too. But for first year students, OMS 1 course guides, OMS 1 fall, the tab for your course, whatever it is, and then there's databases that can be useful. And you'll see there's some here, Access Medicine. I put that because that's one of the resources that a lot of your required textbooks are in. Also Clinical Key, but that also indexes Medline content. And then TEMA Med1 and Visible Body is a 3D and anatomy study tool. But that's where you'll find your required textbooks. On the off chance that we don't have an ebook, and in this day and age, it's not common that we can't get an institutional license of an ebook, but there are a few. For example, this Atlas of Common Counter Strain Tender Points for your OMM course. I just couldn't get an ebook license for that anywhere, but we purchased physical volumes of all of your required textbooks, and we have them in the medical library, and I'll put the call number here. And when you first come in the front desk there, either if Kim's out there or a student worker, or myself or Diane, we keep the books on the physical volumes of your required text on that shelf right behind the front desk, so we can use those as well. Last thing I was going to mention was Summon. You'll see there's a search Summon box here above at the top of your research guide. This is kind of hard to see actually, but there's a little box here. This is also Summon. It's the same thing. And if you're just looking for a book, maybe for whatever reason it's not in the research guide, even though it should be. And let's say I'm looking for Harrison's Principles of Internal Medicine, and I search that. Summon is the forward-facing catalog that searches all the university holdings. And you'll see that it'll show, you can limit this to show just books or also ebooks, or you can search journal articles too in here if you want. But you'll notice here that we've got Harrison's. This is available at the LUCOM Medical Library, so we have the physical volume of that. This is the new edition, the ebook. We've purchased the new edition as a physical volume. I'm not sure if I've cataloged it yet, but you'll see that it'll say ebook, full text online. And when I click on that, it takes it to our catalog is called Alma. But it'll take you to this page and it'll show you where it is. And you'll see here again, that's the McGraw-Hill publication, Harrison's Internal Medicine. And so that's going to be, it's in Access Medicine and also in Access Pharmacy. And these links in Alma will take you directly to the ebook in whatever database we have access to it in. So again, very short. But hopefully that's useful starting out, especially for you first year students at the beginning of the semester. If you're looking for any of your required books, this is where you can find them. If you need help with any other resources, or there's anything else you're interested in, how you can use some of these different databases, I would encourage you to explore. There's some pretty cool tools that are built around the ebooks found in these collections, like self-assessments and study tools and all kinds of stuff. So, and I'll try to do more Teams talks on those, and we're also available here in the library for whenever you want to stop by. So that's all I really wanted to cover for today, and thank you guys for joining. I hope we can continue to come to these, and as always, if you have interest but not time, the recording will be up on the research guide, and I'll put this one up there today as well, and I'll also share it on the class Facebook page. So, thank you guys.